Morning guys, we're just basically about a week in Christchurch now. We're just about heading up now. I've done pretty much all I can do with the time and as usual resources I've got available. So we're about heading down out of town to get on with other jobs and let life continue, I guess. Pretty much I just want to do a quick email, little message here. I've actually chosen this place this morning to see. This is the Fireman's Tribute. This is the from the 9/11, the Twin Towers, so I guess this is kind of our 9/11. I've spent basically a week down here going and visiting the different sites. The plan is in the next week or so I'm going to write that all actually up on my website, and it'll probably be an unfolding process. We'll just start off with basic stuff and then kind of flush it out, but the gist is pretty much how I've gone through and looked at all the different places that were mentioned at the time. Obviously the Linwood, the Al Noor Mosque, we went to where he was arrested, we went to St Margaret's Hospital where they had the armed offenders exercise happening at the same time, and we went to Strickland Street, and we went to Harrow Street, and we went to Papanui. These are all the places where people had been reported as being arrested, and there were reports of their multiple gunmen. The essence of the multiple gunmen at this stage pretty much was that all the people who've spoken to other gunmen. We've got one person said that Tarrant jumped in the car and with other people. I'm at this stage inclined to see that as a bit of the fog of war. There doesn't really appear to have been any more than one actual person involved. A lot of the other sighting of the gunmen were either people like the man that wrestled the shotgun off, and we confirmed that by talking to Mark from Premium Tyres, or else it was members of the Australian 3 Commando, or people who look like they may have got here a little bit faster than other people. In saying that, we do have a couple, 3 things which I guess at this stage I'm still on top of my mind. Not saying that there's still work to be done, but what we have is an additional vehicle of interest at the Al Noor Mosque, which I'm going to be digging into. Now, when we count up all the official people have been, supposedly arrested on the day, officially there was an count of 5, but when we went round and we actually kind of went to each of the sites and located them, we actually found 6, and one of them of interest, I think, is the Strickland site. This is where the bomb reported. Initially, I was thinking that this was one and the same because they were so close to each other, but combined with a photograph of a man who's clearly not Tarrant, combined with the reports of the vans, I think, we've got 6, not 5 people. So again, I'll go into all those aspects of it, and there is an issue of a shotgun, which I'm still working on. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to eliminate that one as well. So the short version is, we have all these reports, and I mean, when you go and you look at my the write-up, you see that there's so much initial mass news and reading reports, and stated as confirmed by Prime Minister, by Mike Bush, the Commissioner of Police. It's really, really understandable to understand what occurred, and to not go back and address those issues. You talk about conspiracy theory. Well, how about doing things openly and transparency? This is what breeds conspiracy. So yeah, there's still plenty of questions to be answered. We're still looking into the origins of where Tarrant actually came from. We're looking at things like the allegations of that he raises money from Bitcoin, when our understanding is that the Bitcoin firm he was meant to be involved with didn't actually come to existence for another 6 years. So there's lots and lots to be done. Definitely, obviously there were real people involved, and we got that covered from, and it seems like such an obvious thing to say, but there were so many people out there saying, the hoax are actors. This is the thing we got slammed for initially. We never said that. We went and actually investigated. We've pretty much debunked this completely, and we've stopped a lot of people from the overseas media from carrying on this aspect of it. And it's interesting because everyone has their perceptions and their bigotries and their prejudices which they bring to the inquiry, or their perspective, and I don't think I'm any different from it, but I'm trying to actually sort through things and take my perceptions out of the equation. And of course, we also have the most important aspect of all of this, which is the consequences of what's going to actually happen. This is the civil liberties issues. This is the amount of money that's going to be spent on surveillance material, changing the role of our counter-terrorism so it becomes actually a dominant part of our military and blurs the line between military and police. So there are all these things that which need to be looked at. In some ways, again, it will be like 9/11, because I always turn around and said, there are all these interesting things about 9/11. I even remember writing in Investigate magazine October 2000 about no one plans to fly airplanes into targeted or strategic targets in America. We wrote that in October 2000. So for me, it was always the case of when they said, "Oh, we had no idea this was going to happen." Well, that was bullshit. But the finer hairs weren't really that important at the end of the day to concern to the bigger issue of civil liberties got kicked to the curb and the military-industrial complex got a lot of power. I think we're going to find that's pretty much going to be the same here in New Zealand. And yeah, it's going to be interesting because I think pretty much social activism of all kind has been put on the hit list, and if you oppose the corporate hegemony, well, this is going to be a little thing you get branded with. Oh, you're a globalist, you're not right, which is absolute bullshit. It has been very, very depressing this week in the sense of so many people that are left-wing seem to have, taken values which I always attributed being left-wing and liberal, such as civil liberties, due process, and they seem to have been willing to just forget about them and forget about the times when they themselves have been subject to abuse by the state. Likewise, there have been so many people who, and I don't want to even provide political ideology, but the same things that are just, the nasty, the vicious, and they don't help with any cause. At the end of the day, I really do believe the only way we can actually get through this is by being tolerant of each other. And listening to each other, having a proper dialogue, not just getting online and getting attack. I experienced that last night. People which basically sort of lower branches of Labour coming out here and you're horrible. And I said, well, what is it that I've actually done? And they couldn't actually answer this because that wasn't the point. The point was just to vent at me and try and discredit me by association. So anyway, it's not the most fun time that we've ever had in New Zealand. I'd like to say, it's a one-off. Unfortunately, I think there's lots of these other events to unfold yet, and the biggest thing is going to be about keeping that mantra that's come out of this, that we are one together, and that includes the Muslim community, who I think have been very, very generous, and especially to me and Vinny, have opened themselves up and have been as transparent as they can, so I've got absolutely no issues there. But it also requires people who profess to be Christian and go, guys, at the end of the day, I'll say this so many times, the whole point of terror is to invoke terror. It is to invoke a situation where we are thinking in our fright space, where in that situation we start to see possibilities and they will become the reality. These hasn't even unfolded, and we're already living in the drama and the trauma of the event that has yet to unfold. There is no percentage in this. The only percentage we have of this is actually being tolerant and of actually being mindful of each other and listening to what everyone has to say. My final inquiries and report is that, again, one of the questions I've asked a lot is, or called for, is the need for an inquiry. I don't believe a royal inquiry goes far enough. We've seen what's happening with the child abuse situations. We've seen what's happening with Nick Hagers. They've just actually become tools for effectively a cover-up. What we actually need is a fully inclusive process in which people actually get to make submissions, they get to have public input, and it's put in a transparent way. So that's my very brief summary up of my week in Christchurch. A lot more work to be done. We're also, we've got so many people to thank out there, which some of you, I'm not going to mention any of you. Some of you because you don't want me to, and some of you because there's just so many of you. But there are also things like Troy and Max, that's the gentleman, the Russian guy, obviously, Max is still in custody, and even the mainstream media is now starting to go, hey, what the hell, this guy's a 16-year-old kid. So these are some things that we're trying to do and again, looking at the source of how he managed to get these weapons to begin with, the failures of the security agencies, all things which are, without having to get nuts and bolts of what actually happened on the day itself, which in some ways I wouldn't say is irrelevant, but it's not as important as these bigger issues. So this is Ben Vidgen reporting from Christchurch, Deadline TV. Thank you for everyone out there who's contributed and assisted me in this. That includes the experts, and includes all the people on Facebook that have, from David Small, who's pulled me up on things and made me look at things, didn't expect it. Jodie Branson, who's also kind of given me a little bit of guidance on the whole issue of the Islamic community, and just reminded me to, maybe to pull back some of my own prejudices. All of your input on my Facebook page has been really, really appreciated, and we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. Ben Vidgen, Deadline TV.